Good morning, traders. Today is Thursday, January 13th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. It's the Pirate Traders live stream. Yeah. Okay, so what are we looking at here today? Well, yesterday was basically just a balancing day. It was a rotational day, which was, a little bit bullish in the fact that it sort of showed acceptance of the reversal of the downtrend. So that was like a little bit bullish to see that we didn't, have a dead cat bounce that just immediately pulled back lower. And then the overnight last night traded within yesterday's range. So that is a further sign of balance. I will say the first thing that jumps out at me when I open up the chart this morning is the 45-degree angle at the low in the overnight. Let me just get that drawing tool up and running here. So yeah, right in here, that 45-degree angle, that is often a sign that there's very strong support in the market right there. So a lot of times you can trust that intraday. If the market pushes down into a 45-degree angle from the overnight, it'll find support in there. Hold on one second. I got to close my window. Sorry about that. Construction outside. So yeah, that 45-degree angle caught my eye. So then immediately I looked over and I saw this 45-degree angle right here. Now this isn't an official 45-degree. It only really counts if it's from the low like it was here. But that's telling me if the regular trading hours yesterday didn't do any business whatsoever inside of this area, they pushed down in there twice real quick and then immediately pulled up. And both of these overnights found good, strong support in that area. That tells me that the sort of 4,700 to 4,708 area should be good, strong support today. Okay. So as the market opens, we're opening inside the previous day's range. What I'm expecting is chop. I'm expecting the market to grind up and down. And I'll be looking, if it grinds down, where does it find support? If it finds support anywhere in here, I'll feel bullish. But if we start to break below that 45-degree angle, so essentially if we start to break below the overnight low, I'll be looking to repair this weak M period that we left behind from the 11th, okay, at 46.93. So if 4,700 doesn't hold, 46.93 is the next target, and then we monitor for continuation lower from there. However, that's not what I think is going to happen. I think we're either going to have a sideways rotational day today like yesterday, or we will try going higher. And as I've been mentioning recently, this node that we're in right here on the cumulative, this is the last major node before we push up into that top balancing area for the market in here. So if we break above yesterday's high today, come back down and find support, I'm almost certain we'll be back up in that balancing area pretty quick. So those are my guesses for today, either sideways or a push higher. But if that 45-degree angle breaks, then we could need to pull back down once again. So we'll take it one tick at a time. Man, got the whole spiel out before market open. Look at me. We could just quickly zoom out and look at the daily. So daily looks good, finding support on that 20. Looking for continuation to a new all-time high. That's what the market always does. Once it finds support on the 20, it goes up. Ding, ding. All right, the market's open. So like I said, we're expecting chop. The market is likely to just kind of grind around in here. Usually for the first 20 minutes, half an hour of the day. So we're looking for where does it find support. The higher it finds support inside of yesterday's range, the more bullish it will be. Good morning, Diego, Arthur, Cyrus, Philip, Ronald. Welcome to all of you. Overlord, good morning. David Glass back with us. Amir, good to see you. Stephen is here. Good morning to you. Nicholas, good morning. Chris Yee, is that 45? If that 45-degree angle breaks, what would the reason for the break be? Oh, it would just be that there wasn't enough strength in the market, right? So this is just a sign that there were desperate buyers in here, right? Every time the market started to come back down towards a previous low, they just couldn't wait. They had to have it. Gimme, gimme, gimme. They bought. And then they pushed it back up. And as soon as it came down again, they couldn't even wait for it to get down there. I got to have it. Gimme, gimme, gimme. So it's just a sign that there's buyers that want to do business in here. So if it breaks, that's a sign that those buyers have changed their mind. That's a change in the market. So that would change the momentum to the upside. But like I said, least likely in my opinion. Cotton Dog, did the dog survive? Yeah, he's here. Staring at me right now. Like, why aren't you petting me? Why aren't you giving me attention 24 hours a day? Nor Auto Trader, good to see you. J Trader back with us. Big Ray in the house. MW, good morning to you. David V, good to see you. Danielle is here. The Shah of Iran, hello to you. Amir, good morning. Design Knob, good to see you. Scooball, hello. And Diego is short the market. Some people love to trade the morning chop, particularly scalpers. But this is the time when I see the market opening within the previous day's range like this, especially after the overnight was just rotational. I like to just sit back and wait for a better signal. I'm in no rush because this thing could just bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce. TV, good morning to you. Pro Claus, good morning to you. Thank you for the spelling out. Appreciate it, brother. John, morning. Good morning, Donkey. Donkey thinks we're pinned. It's going to be another day like yesterday. Buenos dias. Bow bow. Good to see you. If you have not yet, please press that like button. It's a great way to show support for the channel, and it really does make such a huge difference to the algorithm. As soon as we start getting back to more than 50 likes a video, we'll start getting back to more than 100 people watching. Costa Rica. Nice. You're not house shopping, are you? Weather-wise, it'll be a nice change. That's for sure. To sign up, you can always freelance on vacation, bro, with your family. All right. Well, at the moment, it seems like the buyers are in charge here. Internals are all looking pretty good. So let's take a stab at yesterday's high. And of course, what we'll be looking for, as always, with a previous reference like that, it does need to be repaired because it's weak. So we want to make sure the market doesn't just trade a few ticks above, get some excess, and then pull back in. So what we want to do is wait for it to push above and then see does it find support when it comes down to that high. If so, I'd be looking for a continuation higher and feeling pretty bullish. If we can get there. Donkey, I'll be a buyer down there. There you go. Netflix recommendations. I'm trying to think what the last thing was I watched on Netflix. I watched the 2 new Tiger King specials. There's like a Tiger King season 2 and then a Tiger King about one of the side characters. And they're both okay. They're not as good as the original. But they're interesting enough. They're worth checking out. Scooball, what if we find support lower after a break? Is it a place to go long? Anytime you see the market finding support, it's a place to go long. It's just a matter of what your time frame of trading is. Are you going long for a quick scalp, or are you going long to hold it for the next 2 hours? But yeah, anytime you see the market finding support, that is a buying opportunity. And I assume you're talking about that 45-degree area. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of support underneath it, just under yesterday's low. There's this big node of cumulative volume. So it may break and just repair the week end period low, and then that's it. Certainly possible. But my thought is, if the market wants to go higher today, it should find support in here. Then yes, 100%. That's where you go long. Yeah, if this market pushes its way above yesterday's high, comes back down and finds support, I will be getting long in there for continuation higher. Right? And what's my logic in that? What's my reasoning and why I would think that way? Well, because in the past, when we've had a big pullback like this, it's straight green candles out of it. Right? Even yesterday was green. I mean, we did push higher. We did have value completely higher than the previous day. And so this could be momentum to the upside. This could be a trend that would get continuation. So if we get above yesterday's high, come back down and find support, I want to get in that long to go with that continuation. And then the next thing to watch for after that is what happens when we get into this balancing area. Do we reject? Do we push up in there and then reject back out? Or do we push in and then make it to the opposite end of balance? That's sort of the next thing I'd be watching. But now I'm getting ahead of myself. Confusing the new people. For the moment, chop. Yeah, Scooball, finding support, the term finding support doesn't mean that it necessarily has to stop like to a tick at yesterday's high. So it might trade above, come back down, and it might bounce around in here a little bit. It might grind, it might go up, it might come back down. It's just finding support around yesterday's high. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be exactly to the tick. But to answer what I think you're really asking is, the idea is that if you look above yesterday's range, okay, and the market is correct, it wants to go higher than it went yesterday. It thinks the fairest price to do business is higher than it was yesterday. It shouldn't need to pull back down into yesterday's range. That is a sign of a failure of that breakout. That is a sign that the market was wrong. It got itself overly long, and that it is still the fairest price to do business in here. So you should, if you're going to go higher, you should find support around that high. Lahab, could you add cumulative delta to this chart? Not to this one, but I could to these over here. Chris Yee, would you consider this week's uptrend a balancing of the downswing from last Friday? That's an interesting question. I feel like not anymore. We could have yesterday, but I feel like now it's a new uptrend. But yeah, like what was this just kind of like absorbing some of this down move? I think as soon as you break through this 618 on the fib, you can discount that. And we are above it. So I think that this trend just came to an end. That's what this big wick was telling us. It's interesting how the last few times that the market has broke the 50, it hasn't quite needed to test the 100. It's like somebody's front running it a little bit. Anyway, random thought, random shower thought. Man, right back at the opening price. Choppity chop chops. Chop suey. MW, why does my trading view chart disconnect? Because I'm using it on two different computers. So I'm trading on TradingView on a separate computer. So every time I click on this one, I open it up on here, my other one pops up and says session disconnected. And then when I click on that one, this one, watch, I'll click on the other one right now. Click. Boom. Session disconnected. Apparently they don't like you using two computers at the same time. I will say the chop so far this morning making a beautiful, perfect bell-shaped curve. One for the textbooks. In the A period. So internals still telling me nothing. A smidge more bullish, but no clear information yet. And again, I'm not necessarily calling the low here of the day, but just for learning purposes, this is textbook gorgeous taper on the low right here. 9,000, 6,000, 4,000, 3,000, 1,500, 1,200, 600. I mean, just perfect taper on the low and the high. So, Charles, what do you mean by perfect taper? What on earth are you talking about? I'm new to the channel, and this doesn't make any sense to me. Well, what we look at the highs and lows of the day or of a particular range is we look for something called taper, which just basically shows that there are less and less people doing business as the market moves lower, if it's at the bottom end, or higher as if it's at the top end. So these numbers over here, this is the volume profile that you see over here on the left. And that's just showing you the total number of contracts that exchanged at each particular price level. So we can see that as there are less and less people doing business, the lower and lower we go, that means we are running out of sellers. There are not people that want to go short down in here anymore. And then the same thing to the upside. If we run out of people slowly working our way to the upside, it's a sign that nobody wants to go long up in here. So that's just often a great signal that an auction is done going one direction and is ready to turn around and go the other, is when you get that nice taper that just visually shows you the sellers running out. One of the many advantages that market profile software gives you over regular candlesticks. Nunes says, please kill me if it's going to do this all day. It shouldn't bounce around in this tight of a range all day. But we could get a rotational day that just bounces around inside of yesterday's range. Particularly if we get a look above and fail. If we try to get above yesterday's high and then we pull back down in, probably we're just rotating. But if we can get that sweet, sweet support, that's what we're looking for. Cotton Dog, is rotational the same as balancing? Yes, it is. Rotation and balance is the same thing. Generally, when we're referring to rotation, we're referring to like intraday, like over the next few hours. And balance would be like over the next few days. But yeah, it's the exact same thing. Nor does that mean you're making money? I'm not sure what that means. Or is your money going to heaven? It's a new emoji to me. All right, B period. Bring us some action. Going to heaven. Got it. For what it's worth, I would say at this point, if we break 27, we could probably target yesterday's POC. So if this taper that we have from today basically doesn't hold up the market, we probably need to trade down into this area where we did so much business yesterday, between like 47.14 and 20. If you're looking for a quick scalp to the downside. pop over and see what the NQ is doing. Okay, so same as the ES, the NQ just rotated inside the previous day's range. Initial balance now to the downside. Initial balance trending down. Lots of support right around this area where the POC was yesterday. So between like 15,905 and 885. Lots and lots of support in there. If that breaks, I would say if 15,879, if that breaks, you could look for a larger pullback. But anything inside here could be support for rotation back up. Back to the ES. Real money. Diego was saying there you go because he said we were going to take out the high, the A period high, and then we literally popped up and took it out a second later. It is choppy. The market is choppy. Can't make up its mind. Don't know where it's going. All right, looks like we're heading down to yesterday's POC. And it looks like the NQ might be heading down to test that 20 simple moving average on the 15-minute candles. Okay, creating a poor low. We often get a push away from a poor low. So if it immediately repairs it, gets one more tick lower, that would be a little bit more bearish. And if we get a bit of a push away, that would be expected. And then it'll come back and take it out in a bit. Okay, there's the repair. Next target, the POC from yesterday at 47.18. There's not really much selling pressure in here, though. Trading donkey. Yep, that 80% rule is a very real thing. It's something I've noticed with pirate traders as well. You get some clients who pay for a membership every month, and I never hear a word from them. And then you have some people who, like, they pay and then they ask for a refund and then they ask a million questions and they email me every day. And it's like, fuck, man. Some people are so easy and some people are so hard. Such is life. All right, well, we didn't quite make it to the POC, but we should. We've bad taper on the low here. So remember I talked about earlier how, you want to see the numbers getting lower and lower and lower, getting smaller and smaller as you get lower. So the fact that we have 4,000 contracts below 2,000 is a sign we need a little more two-sided trade in here. So I do think we're going to get to the POC from yesterday. But anywhere between essentially there, between like 17 and the overnight low at 47.02, anywhere in there could be support. There you go, to the POC. So now we're looking for the buyers to step in, get the ticks back above the zero line, and then start trending them higher from there. Ooh, Q looks weak. Okay, well, losing this support right here means we might need to pull down into this support down here in the 15,800. Well, I guess it's all 15,800s. 15,830 area. Looking for support in there. Oh, Cotton Dog, I didn't see your question about the 80% rule. Remind me what that is? That's not one he teaches anymore. Ah, yeah, Cotton Dog. Yeah, I mean, that could easily happen today. We could easily rotate to the opposite end of value. But I would have to say, I would be willing to guess if there was ever a 20% chance it wouldn't, today would be that. There's a lot of support in here. Jitten, what's up with those 245s in the overnight? I don't know. People like doing business there. Those overnight traders, they like that level. It's just that, it's that 4,700 level. It's that magic number. All right, well, internals are beginning to trend down. Scuball SLS from POC liquidated now. I'm not sure what that means. But no, this is not a liquidation break. This is just the market looking for support. And not finding it yet. Oh, stop losses? Oh, you mean like did some people have stops for long trades at the POC? Could be. I wouldn't put mine there, but sure. All right, well, now it's on the buyers to start stepping in here. We need to reverse this trend in the ticks. It's the moment of truth. Philip NQ about to get into D period single prints. Yeah, but like I said, it's got support. It's pushing into it right now. So if we look over here at the cumulative, there should be some support right in here and then right in here. So that's the overnight low and like yesterday's low. Boom, boom. So there's support waiting there. Let's see what happens when they test that. Big divergence between equality put call, index put call. What's the difference between those two? Equity. MW, what is the range for the composite profile? It's 30 days. It's the last 30 days. 30 trading days. So in this scenario, Donkey, you're saying that the equity puts, those are dumb money and the index is smart money, or vice versa? Do I have to put my real data in the checkout? No, man, put whatever you want. It has to, your credit card payment has to go through. So make sure you use, like, I don't know if you have zip codes in Iran, but yeah, whatever information would need to line up for your credit card payment to go through, that you would want to use the real info. But excited you're going to join. Happy to have you. Got some royalty in the brigade. Got it, Donkey. That makes sense. Cotton Dog not taking BTC for payment, Charles? If you could tell me a way to take Bitcoin as a payment through, a WordPress site, through WooCommerce, I would do that for sure. I use Squarespace, and I assume they'll be the first to make it available. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I can add Coinbase Commerce? Are you serious? Why have I not heard about this? I will do that tomorrow. All right. Well, buyers, can you do it? Can you hold it up here? They're trying. Ticks are almost back above the zero line. Not quite. Rob, check out Oshi. I don't know what that is. What is that? Nor Auto Trader. So yeah, there's a few people in here that are using the tick strike. I personally can't use it. It's too distracting, but I can see its value. All right. Well, with that, okay, there we go. With that, I'm going to bid you all farewell for the day. I will say, whilst it looks like the market is trending lower, both internally and looking at the TPOs, I do think there's a lot of support in here. So keep an eye on this area where that 45-degree angle is, pretty much from like 4707 to 4700, that general area. Look for support in there, and only if that breaks would I get more bearish for a larger pullback. But my assumption is we're either going sideways here or we find support and then we test breaking out. But probably rotation inside yesterday's range. It's not exciting, but it's what I'm feeling. All right, so with that, I will bid you all farewell. Members of the Brigade, let's go hang out. Let's party in the private stream. See you all there. Thanks a lot. Bye.